Hello and welcome to Detroit Performs. I'm your host, DJ Oliver. This episode brings me to CANVASxDetroit, located on Detroit's Lower East Side. CANVAS is a mixed-use space filled with curated retail, pop-ups, community events, and of course, art exhibitions. I'm gonna head inside to see what's shaking at the MASH while you check out our first artist. Brandon Christopher is the creator of CANVASxDetroit, an organization bringing arts to men, women, young and old, all around the Detroit area.
Art is not so dissimilar from food. Everybody can kind of come together over food. We all have to eat. And while people on the surface might not say that we all have to consume art or enjoy art, it is something for sure that we can all come together and enjoy and fellowship. CANVASxDetroit is an arts engagement platform. We have all of these different moving parts that are designed to engage people artistically and creatively. So inside of this engagement platform, we do arts classes, and that goes from young to old. We do themed classes. We do corporate and nonprofit art workshops where we actually teach leadership development and team building, but we use art as the catalyst, as the vehicle to teach those things. CANVASxDetroit is in all of our hearts and minds, hopefully. But right now, CANVASxDetroit is housed in CANVASxDetroit, which is a 6,000 square foot space we're actually in right now. But it's a community engagement. CANVASxDetroit is part of that community engagement. I think art resides within every person. What that means is that from a very young age, we don't face the limitations of our creative ability. We think of ourselves as being limitless in our ability to iterate and bring things together and imagine. And I think that as we get older though, it's not that it dies, but it becomes sort of covered up in things. And so when I say that in each of us there is an artist, what I mean is that art is still residing within you. And what CANVASxDetroit is designed to do is really unearth, sort of pull those layers of all those things that you've placed upon your creativity, that you've placed upon your inner artistry, and remove them and sort of reintroduce you. Not only do we want to reintroduce people, we want to cultivate that art. So you meet your art once more, but now let's explore it. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's really engage with our creative selves. We're really excited about Boundless street art installation, which allows people to sort of engage in creating graffiti type street art with the hope that we sort of legitimize street art as a fine art and sort of take it or divorce it from the realm of the criminal, property defacement, all of these negative ideas that are associated with street art. We work to sort of combat those things. So all of those things we do under the umbrella of arts engagement, and it's open to everyone. There are really no limitations on who can create, and we really invite everyone to come and participate. Part of the Boundless system itself is to give people the opportunity to participate directly in creating street art. So that's piece one. We have community engagement. Piece two is we'll actually be engaging the community in securing property. So they'll have the opportunity to creatively express themselves on a fence that secures the property. And so the idea is that anyone who might want to come and scrap, there's a barrier between them, and it's not just any barrier, it's a barrier that the community has created. And I hope that with CANVASxDetroit's help and the help of the artists that we work with, we create a really beautiful barrier that no one will want to even destroy. That's the premise, is that we're using the power of art to sort of change people's minds and change how people feel. Today at Harvest Fest, we'll be putting our Boundless art installation up and working with all of the kids there to come and contribute their own street art. And another big thing I always want to emphasize is that when we do street art, when we do Boundless, and when we do anything at CANVASxDetroit, we speak to our artists and we make sure that they understand the importance of being intentional about their work. What message are you conveying? Is it a positive message? Is it a sincere message? Is it a message that's going to be uplifting? And we especially focus on those things when it comes to Boundless, because Boundless is a public-facing installation. So when the community drives by or walks by and sees the installation, it's important for us, and it's important, I think, to the community itself, that the ideas and the messages and the images are uplifting. In my personal art, I think empowerment is important. I want people to feel like they can make art too that is potent and that is desirable and visually interesting. And I think that sometimes when art becomes very complex, when art becomes very true to life, or even when the art you're viewing utilizes, maybe some very difficult techniques, people often sort of distance themselves from that. So in my personal practice, I like to create art that makes people feel like I could create that too. I like to make art that makes people feel close to me as an artist, and not like, oh, this guy is a Picasso, or he's a Rembrandt, or he's a, whomever. Because I think that can sort of create an unhealthy distance or make people feel alienated from the craft itself. So when I work, I try to create on a scale that feels familiar, that is inviting, and that makes people feel like I want to try that too. So my art, I do a lot of line work. I keep it very simple. Shapes and lines are very powerful. When we step into the realm of imagination, when you step into the CANVASxDetroit zone, we encourage you to be imaginative. And so what you see behind us is our imagining of a Detroit transit system. And even going further, when you think of it, this space, MASH, CANVASxDetroit as a business, we really want to facilitate the movement of people, the movement of ideas, the exchange that occurs when you do have a transit map. So again, we take very simple shapes and sizes, things that are very accessible, but we create, these larger ideas, these visions for the future.
You can learn more about Brandon Christopher and CANVASxDetroit, as well as all the artists we feature on DetroitPerforms.org.